wondering why sometimes either yourself as a woman or your partner, if you're a guy and you have a partner that is a woman, why sometimes some of our cycles feel way more stronger, and what to do with sometimes it gets just like it can feel like it gets in the way of things of life, like I wish if I didn't have the layer of my circle at the moment, or if I didn't have the layer of being so sensitive and emotional, you realize like, okay, if this wasn't happening, maybe I could be responding to life in a very different way. And I'm going to share in this video something that of course is not going to be the answer and the solution for solving any other situations that might be difficult in your life, but I would say that in the moment we understand what is happening during these difficult moments of intense cycles, intense phases of our cycles, I think it helps us so much to just add different meaning, to have different interpretations of how we experience it. Eventually, it just support it. It can give us more ideas to go through those other experiences in life. And I would say, if you're new to my channel, I try to focus and to speak directly to people that identify themselves as very sensitive. Because it's just who I am, and also it feels like sometimes the world is designed for people that might not experience life from these very sensitive places. So if you identify yourself as a very sensitive person as well, of your partner, if you think your partner is also a very sensitive person, welcome to this space, because many things that I can say. I have many videos where I talk about this subject, about how to do life when you are so sensitive, and the power that there is in being this sensitive, experience life from this high level of sensitivity. So everything is fine with you. You are the most special. We are all special, but you are perfect as you are. But yeah, I think humanity we are coming to a place of, we can say, conscious, the collective consciousness, I think, is waking up to a lot of things, and we are realizing that we all, yes, are humans, but we all experience life in different ways, and there's a big group of us that experience life from these very deep and sensitive places. So let's unlock that beauty together, and let's navigate life, owning this super powerful gift that we have. So the interpretation that I am still creating, some of the realizations I'm having around this sensitivity during the phases of our cycles. Let's start by saying that, just to give a little context, women's cycles have 4 phases, and there are 2 that would be obviously the most sensitive: the phase before our cycle and the phase of our cycle. And I want to say, I have to share that it's not always the same for me. That's why I'm so passionate and excited to talk about it, because it's only when we are experiencing a very intense and difficult one that we are like, what do I do with this, right? So I'm coming from that place, from I'm not, I'm a very healthy person. I'm not experiencing any major disorder or disease or anything like that. I think it's important also that we always have that connection with our intuition in our bodies. And yeah, first examine with ourselves, like where are we in the spectrum. If you think you're experiencing very extreme symptoms and you have been noticing some patterns that you think could be related to a lack of something related to, I don't want to name things because I don't want to scare you either. If you think it's time for you to check with a doctor, with someone that is an expert in this, like, please do. But if you feel like you are in this spectrum I am, where it's just like once in a while, and once in a while feels like it does definitely get in the way of life, and it just shake you, and you're like, well, wait, what do we do with this? So the thing is, and again, like, this is kind of fresh for me. This is the first month that I am changing and adapting and adjusting a lot of things in my lifestyle routines, a diet, and that I'm consciously helping my body through each phase of the cycle. So the week before, the phase before we start our cycle, estrogens go down. And there are moments where I'm aware that I am in that phase, but it's almost like estrogens maybe don't go down because I feel like I'm way more energetic, and yeah, it's just I don't notice the change they describe. I don't experience what they describe we feel when our estrogens go down. And what we experience when our estrogens go down is that we have obviously less energy, less drive. We might feel not as creative as. The biggest things I've been noticing is that I don't feel as inspired because when my estrogens start picking up again, I am very inspired, and I don't feel as social. So those are the major things, and I don't feel like working out that much. I was using the water, so I'm just kind of like getting a little, sometimes I get allergy from swimming in the ocean. So that's me. Again, we all experience symptoms in a kind of like in a different way, but that's also like what they describe about what happens when our estrogens go down. So I want to add, and I want to invite you, if you are also a very curious person and you're trying to find how to navigate life, and you want to find a way how to navigate life when it hits this strong. I've been exploring a lot with astrology, human design, and the gene keys recently, and with the help of ChatGPT, because these days we have access to a lot of information through ChatGPT. So I invite you also to play around. I will be more than happy to share. I can maybe record another video sharing how I use ChatGPT to get as much information from these three sources of wisdom: astrology, human design, and the gene keys. So just to share, in astrology, I'm a Pisces, and I have a lot of Pisces. I'm also in a place right now, if you know a little bit about astrocartography. If you don't know astrocartography, in astrology you get your chart based on the time and place you were born, and that tells you, how do you say it, like aspects of your personality and things that might happen through different moments in your life. But astrocartography, is the fun thing about it is that it creates a chart based on the place you are, and the energies tend to change a little bit. So I might know, I have, let's say, I'm from Medellin, Colombia. So my astrocartography chart in my city, there are different energies there than what I'm experiencing, than the energies that are here in Miami where I am. So it's beautiful experiences, healing, things that I never thought I could. But just never saw it coming. It's been very natural, organic, the way everything has been happening, and it's just like in a very beautiful way. Okay. The thing is that I try to explore, not to get obsessed about these things, but just to get like a visual, like the big picture of what might be happening. Again, I'm a very curious person, so it helps me just to tap into the energies of, okay, these parts might be getting activated, and that's why I might have these other layers of sensitivity. So I was going to share that, yes, in astrology, I'm a Pisces. I have a lot of Pisces. And in human design, which I think is the important part that I want to share here, is that I am a manifestor in human design. So that's one of the things that started making me get way more curious about my energy levels and the phases of my menstrual cycle, because I was noticing already that as a manifestor, I was like becoming very aware. Okay, like I don't have energy all the time. This is changing. I was becoming very aware of when I had a lot of energy and when I didn't have a lot of energy. And then I started noticing, like, okay, that's not always aligned with my cycle. That's when things get a little tricky. There are times where I get those urges and boost of energy from being a manifestor when I'm in the phase of, when my estrogens are dropping. So I was like, okay, this is a little tricky, this is a little confusing. What did I do with all this? So again, this last month is the time that I've been very active, just absorbing, being curious, connecting with all the sensations and the changes. I'm also I share that I've been supporting my body with the foods and the activities we are supposed to do during each phase of our cycle. And I have to say that this week that I'm dry, the week before my cycle starts, I noticed how a couple of days I had those urges. I had those crazy boosts of energy, and I was like, okay, here we go, manifestor energy. But then I noticed when it dropped. And then when it was my manifestor energy dropping, and I am in that place of low estrogens, it feels way more intense. So these are the things that I'm discovering, and I hope this is being clear and it's helping you also to maybe realize, like, oh my god, maybe that's how I feel, that time, and I didn't know what was happening. Maybe I was thinking that I was sick, or maybe there was something super crazy going on with my body. One other thing that I would like to add about being a manifestor, it's something that I hear many times, something that I had to explore and be patient to kind of understand how that felt with me, because that a lot of people say things and we can kind of like go doing life repeating what people say, but another different thing is when we feel into that and we understand, we find out if that is true for ourselves. And this idea is that manifestors can get a little addicted to the highs. I realized about that in all this exploration, and yeah, I do love how it, a lot of energy. And so one thing that helped me to manage, let's say we're being extreme, I don't like using the word addiction, but I think it's just a very easy way to explain the feeling to people. So I have times of the year, and I don't have an answer to everything. I don't have an answer for that. I don't know what happens, but I have times during the year where my body doesn't take caffeine. I cannot drink caffeine. It is too much for my body. It can be related to the manifestor energy. It can be related to the seasons, when the seasons change. Who knows? Again, we are sensitive here. It could be many, many, many different things. So it's been a while. I want to say that maybe 5 months that I've been drinking only cacao, and it's been the most fun. And yeah, I've been enjoying so much only drinking cacao. I'm off from my coffee, but I do, for example, this morning I'm drinking matcha. I do like my green tea, and especially matcha. Just, I don't know, again, we don't have answers for everything. Matcha feels good for me, especially because now I'm like in my lows of energy, and I went to a crazy, amazing, beautiful yoga class this morning, but it took most of my energy, and I have to leave soon to start working. So where I was going with all this story, it helped me. So beautiful. There are a lot of birds flying. Let's see if I can show you. Where did they go? Yeah, over there. Anyway, it helped me not having the stimulation from caffeine to notice and to work on that addiction to being on highs. Because when you are in that, when I was in that dynamic of cycle of drinking caffeine, it's just, I was just like very happy being so high all the time. Anyway, we're not gonna get distracted. Drinking cacao has been helping me to manage and to be comfortable, because that's the thing. What they said about manifestors getting a little addicted to the highs of energy. What do we do with that? So we have to learn how to also enjoy the lows. So the cacao doesn't give me the super high strong energy, and I don't get the crash either. It's just a very stable, very clean boost of energy. So that's just wonderful. It also, cacao has amazing benefits for everything, especially for our cycles, for women, for the menstrual cycle. It helps us. I'm not sure. I think it helps with the estrogens. You need to Google it or ChatGPT it. Anyway, I hope I'm giving you good information so you can do also. I always invite people to do your own little research, exploration in your body, how things feel. It's always great to learn from people, especially people that have been exploring and practicing things like me this time. But that's also how I approach life. I like to get inspired from people and go in to learn from people and do my own little research and see how I can adapt things to my personality, lifestyle, my everything. So, there's one more important story that I wanted to share. So, these are just examples of what I've been experiencing and what I've been doing, how I've been helping my body, how I've been relating to what my body is experiencing in order to support it. Now, there's this very beautiful story that's the whole inspiration of this video that I wanted to share. It is a little bit more on the spiritual side, so I invite you to just be open. If you like it, beautiful, take it, do whatever you want with this story. If it's a little out there for you, just leave it. You can just go and watch something else. But God, it just really touched my heart when I finally understood the idea of this story, of this metaphor. And it's the idea that, because this is the base in this story, is where I am getting the inspiration to shift my perspective about these moments. And it's just, honestly, what it does for me is just, I can relate to my body, I can relate to this moment with love, compassion, and actually excitement. I'm like, oh, there's something I can do, there are things I can do to make this time of my life work. And not only that, like, it can be so profound, it can be so magical, it can be so beautiful. So beautiful. So here's the story. So in spirituality, they say that when women, when our estrogens start dropping, it's an invitation for women to sit by the fire. And I went to a yoga class this morning. I hated yoga class. It was super, super hot. And I started, and I love yoga classes, heated yoga classes. That's where I learned yoga. And I noticed this anxiety. Just I couldn't. And I was resisting the heat, and I noticed my body was just like not taking it. And I had to kind of be, really present and push myself a little bit to the sensation. I'm sorry, I'm gonna sneeze. And that's when I clicked and I connected again with this beautiful metaphor, with this beautiful example that says that women are being invited to sit by the fire. So in this case, the fire is the estrogens going down, is the idea that we are losing, let's say, the estrogens. I might not do, I might not be able to explain it very well, but I'm sure you will get the idea. So if you think about this image of you sitting in front of a very intense fire, it's burning probably your face, and you want to step back and you want to go away. Otherwise, you're gonna might die. And it's not realistic to think that like what I'm gonna describe, that we are gonna, it's a metaphor. So if we, let's say, humans had the ability to be reborn, how would it be your experience letting your body burn in the fire, right? Maybe this is a little out there, but I hope you are getting the message. So that's very much what we are experiencing. It's an invitation for us to let our bodies burn down in the fire for our rebirth. And the rebirth happens when the estrogens start going up. That's the message, that's the metaphor, that's the idea, that's the invitation. Just to let our bodies, ourselves, our emotions, our thoughts, everything burn down in that sensation of the days that we feel everything so extreme. It's like, okay, can you just be present and just be present and let it be? What is on the other side? So as I was describing, I was resisting, and I actually got up and I left the room for a little bit. And then when I came back in the room, what I realized, like, I don't have to push myself so hard. I don't have to do everything that everyone is doing that is not feeling the way I'm feeling. So I sat with the fire, the heat of the room. I was maybe doing, like a child pose or something. And I didn't resist it. I was just there, present with the fire. I hope you can get inspired, create your own version of this story. You can actually ChatGPT it, the relationship and spirituality of the moment where women are in their phase of their cycle where they start losing estrogens, with the metaphor of the phoenix. You will find a lot of beautiful information. But yeah, that's all for today. Either if you're a guy or a girl, I hope you feel inspired, you get something fun and good from this, and helps you to shift your perspective. So what a beautiful way now to approach these days. Like, okay, it is available for me that I can just, it's not only available, it's the invitation that life is giving me, that I can just sit and be present, and I don't have to push myself to do anything. Find your variation, your own way, because I know I have to do work and I need to run now to work. But in the busy day, how I can be present, how can I be more present, what is on the other side of me being present while my body is burning down. A lot of magic is gonna happen for you, for your girlfriend, for me, for everyone. I would like to think that everyone could see things from this perspective, but for now, if it's just you, I will be more than happy. So have a great day. I hope to see you in my next video. Peace and love.